Welcome to the Real Raw Relatable podcast. I am your host, Stevie B.
Hi, Steve.
And as usual, being that it's the fortnightly show of the month, I have Kat John with me in the studio.
So great to be here.
Never gets old, does it?
Pretty sure it does.
You hate it every time.
I'm pretty sure if I put a poll out there, everyone would say, can you please not hijack Kat's podcast?
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right. There will be a poll coming out on Instagram where you get to contribute whether you like or don't like that I take over the podcast.
Or that you say it's your podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hosting.
Because I reckon we're just wasting time.
It's true. I'll consider it for next time. Today, we are talking about, we're going to mix it up today. We're not going to do the what did you like, what did you not like.
You know what? I'm open. If you're open to stop fucking talking about, hey, welcome to Steve's podcast and you make guess, then I'm prepared to let that go for today.
All right.
We can put two polls out.
All right.
A poll of Steve not being a wanker and a poll of do you like us talking about our challenges and enjoyments, which I reckon people will.
Okay, let's see. The poll results will be out soon.
This is true.
Today, we are talking about something, I think it's a really...
Today's something special.
I'm getting to that. Oh, my God.
Oh, okay.
You're such a little control freak. Today, we're talking about a important topic because tomorrow is 1 year since you and I got married.
Yeah.
It is our anniversary of our wedding.
Yes.
And we thought that a good idea might be to talk about, because everyone gets to see the us now, right? And we get a lot of comments about our relationship, like couple goals, you know, your relationships are beautiful. You guys seem so happy. So what we did, or what we discussed, was that today we would talk about how we got from where we were to where we are.
Because our path back to love.
Path back to love, because there's a lot of people out there who might look at our relationship or any, you know, really good relationship and just feel like that's so far away from where I am now. You know, they might have come out of a terrible relationship and just be jaded and not be in a position to trust again, to open their heart again, to want to have someone again. And we wanted to talk about where we came from to show anyone that there is a path back.
Yeah.
Because we both found it.
It's a messy path.
Yeah.
It can be a messy path. And for both of us, it definitely was.
Yes.
To trust love, to have faith in love again, to fear love and let it in regardless. You know, it's a scary thing. I think we've got a lot of conditions around love, that love has hurt us, love has shamed us, love has embarrassed us, love has whatever. And like at the end of the day, love is love. And I know that every sentient being on the planet longs for love and seeks to experience it. And you and I were no different.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to openly share about where we were before we got together, even and go back a little bit further, as evidence.
Kick us off.
So I'm going to start, am I?
Yeah.
Okay. So my journey back to love would have started in 2014. I got divorced.
Married for how long?
We were together for almost 20 years.
Okay.
The divorce part was difficult, but we were quite amicable. And then in 2016, things blew up considerably. And I won't go into all the detail around that, but let's just say that by the time you rocked up in 2016, my views were, if I never had a woman in my life ever again, that would be amazing. Heart was closed, didn't trust females, didn't trust love, felt, you know, gutted, and I just wasn't there. So I was dating a lot at the time, as you know, because we were, if any of you don't know our backstory, Kat and I met again in 2014, and we were just mates for 2 years. So I would often ring Kat and talk about my relationships and vice versa.
That's right, because when we first met, you were divorced, but you were like happily divorced.
Yeah.
That the mess hadn't happened.
The mess hadn't happened.
Can I ask a question in there just quickly?
Mm.
You know how you said after 2016 your heart was closed? When 2014, when you were divorced, was your heart closed, or because it was I'm sure every divorce is messy-ish, was your heart as closed then, or was it after the 2016?
No, it was mostly after 2016.
Right.
I was still optimistic, I think, in 2014. Like it, my relationship had ended, but I was open to the idea of a new one.
Okay.
And probably a bit more positive.
Okay.
But yeah, by 2016, it was like, nah.
Yep.
So I was dating a lot, but I was deliberately attracting in, I guess, women who I knew didn't have a hope.
They weren't there for the heart.
Yeah, they weren't there for the heart, or they may have been, but they weren't going to get it.
Yeah, right. Okay.
You could have given them, an industrial strength fucking jackhammer, and they weren't coming anywhere near the locked concrete box that my heart was sitting in. So I think it culminated, actually. We were on the balcony at my place. You
friends at this point.
Yeah, friends, and you came over with Tommy, and you guys were all like happy and whatever, and you just caught me on a really bad day, and I was like, fucking relationships suck. You never want to be in one. It's nothing but compromise and resentment, and
I remember you talking about the color of pillows. You're like, one person's going to want yellow pillows, and the other one's going to want blue pillows, and someone's going to have to compromise and be like, I fucking hate those yellow pillows, and that person who picked the yellow pillows is like, wow.
Yeah, it was a rabbit hole that I was going down that night. But in the end, the upshot of it all was that relationships don't work, that someone always has to compromise, that the compromise leads to resentment, resentment leads to long-term dissatisfaction, and dissatisfaction leads to fucking breaking up, or just being unhappy and bleh. And I remember you you finished that conversation.
Yeah.
You said to me, wow, what a joy it's going to be for whoever ends up with you. Little did you know.
Little did I know.
Little did you know.
Little did I know.
It was
I
that would end up with me.
That clearly, just being like, wow, that was you, like put an anchor around all of our ankles and dropped us into the bottom of the ocean with your darkness. That was pretty epic.
So that's where I was. And the path back was a path of resistance. So I didn't want to fall in love again. I didn't want to open my heart again.
But wait, which I in you? You know what I mean? Like when you say I didn't want to fall in love again.
I mean, obviously the egoic part of me.
Yeah.
Because as you just said, everyone does crave for love and affection, and we're a species that relies on connection, right, and intimacy and being belonging. So my path back was in resistance, because and you got to witness that, because in August of 2016 we met in Bali
as friends.
The stars seemed to align. We ended
Yeah.
up having a kiss, and then there was this 6 months of in out, in out. And the in and the out was the fight between the heart and the ego. And I we've talked about this before.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
It was very messy. And
okay, yeah, go.
And I guess what it was is, for anyone listening who might be in a similar boat, is I guess there's a little bit of just faith that there are good people out there, that the past does not equal the future, that this too shall pass. Difficult times will pass, and you have to. There is trust in there that the person who you're connecting with, will have your back. That it can be different, but man, that's
that's the question I was going to ask. Because of how you felt in 2016, and can you because there are women who listen to this, And I think it's really helpful to hear from a man's perspective what's going on in their head, because we can deem you to be assholes, pricks, not emotionally available, yada
Mm.
yada yada. And one of my friends, she said she shared a podcast, and it was Jay Shetty,
Mm-hmm.
who was talking about how when it comes to relationships and dating, everyone's healing.
Oh,
Everyone is healing.
100%.
Everyone is healing, and everyone's going to be at a different stage phase of their healing with it, whether it's shut armored lock doors, whether it's a little peep open. And I guess, yeah, what was the hurt in you in 2016? And I know you can't go into detail about it
Mm.
for reasons, but what was the hurt that led to my heart is protected and I will protect it at all costs? And then take us to when you met me, what it was like inside of you to have this woman
Mm-hmm.
going like, my love, can you open your heart? Tell us about that, please.
Okay.
Dig in.
So 2016, where I was at, was, as I said, the best word I can describe is gutted.
Mm,
Um, it the things that happened, it wasn't even just in relation to the feminine, it was relation to family, it was relation to everything. Like, there was a full rug pull,
mm,
right, of my whole life.
mm,
So there was, there was betrayal in there, there was loss, there was heartache,
mm,
it was everything.
mm.
So my ability, I think the best way to put it is, my ability to trust another human
Mm.
was gone.
Right.
Right?
So someone who you thought would never do such a thing.
Nah, there was always the fear, but there were promises made that what happened would never happen. And it was
Mm.
like, you know how when you play out a scenario in your head and you're like, fuck, that's the worst case scenario,
Yeah.
and your ego's like, oh shit, that might happen, but you're like, but I hope it won't. Like, literally the worst case scenario
Mm.
happened.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, it was like a proper uppercut
Yep.
out of the blue.
KO'd. You were KO'd.
KO'd.
Yeah.
And so, obviously, there were a few dynamics, because there was money involved, there was lawyers involved, there was
Mm.
legal shit involved. So whilst, I'm on these dates and these women are like trying to connect with me, in my mind, I'm dealing with all these different aspects of my life. Like, there was
Mm.
just no chance.
Yeah.
To be fair, I probably shouldn't have been dating at the time, but it was almost a distraction from the reality of my life.
Right. Okay.
Um,
Yeah. What got you? So okay, it was it was a distraction.
mhm.
What else did dating give you? Because it wasn't giving you the heart. What was it giving you?
Oh, it was. I mean, it was probably giving my ego a boost.
Okay.
It was distracting me from what was going on.
Mm.
It was giving me some sense of control. Like, I was able to control at least some aspects, because a lot
Right.
of my life was not in my control. It
Mm.
was third party affected.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, it was just it was bad.
Mm. Mm.
It's interesting when you talk about the Jay Shetty thing. Like, how cool would it be if you were on dates
Mm.
and there was like a little
A
logo above
spectrum.
people's head, and
Yeah.
you could actually see where they were
Where they
really
were.
at?
Yeah.
Because
Like deep in the red or
yeah,
amber.
because everyone bullshits,
Yeah.
right? Oh, so are you here to meet someone? Absolutely. And it's like,
Mm.
not a
Ding, ding,
chance.
ding, ding, ding. No, they're
But
not.
but
Mm.
but it's a catch-22 though,
Mm.
right? Because if, like, as I said, I wasn't looking for a relationship, but
No.
I found one with you, and it
Mm.
wouldn't have happened had we not at least tried to go there.
Yeah.
So it's just, risk is part of the game.
Mm.
You got to be prepared for the fact that it's not going to work, that someone may, give you false representations. And this is the thing that I talk about when we discuss um dating. And I think a couple of episodes ago I talked about how I would be on Tinder and
Yeah.
see these profiles. It's like, don't message me this, don't message me if you're that,
Yeah.
don't message. And it's like, cool, I get it, you're jaded, But what are your options? Like, if your
Mm.
true end result is that you want to connect with someone, that is that really going to get you to the end result, or is that your ego coming in to protect you, but ultimately moving you further away from your end result?
Yep.
And if any of that sounds familiar, there's an awesome book that I know someone has written. I think it was you, Authentic,
Yes.
available Amazon
Yes.
on all audiobooks,
Yes.
that talks about how you move beyond your ego so that you can
Correct.
connect with your heart
Yeah.
and get your true end result.
Yeah.
Just a quick word from our sponsor, Authentic, written by Kat John. So that was the first part of your question. So that's where I was. And then
Yeah.
what was the
So
second
the
bit?
second part was, okay, your heart's in the peoc.
Yep.
Your heart is well underground.
Yep.
And then we're friends during that. We're hanging out, we're having dinners. You've asked me to go and like look after Mia because she was sick because she had to take Allegra to school. Like, we were cool. We were just mates. And then we're in Bali. We share a kiss. Like, we meet up. We're having a fun day down at the beach. We're rolling in the waves. I remember that. I remember you said to me, you could be on a Colgate ad because your teeth are so white and big and smiley. And then we were mucking around and you went in to kiss me and I pushed you away. I pissed myself laughing. And then we went back to your place and then we were in the pool, had a kiss. I think we both freaked out, got the hell out of the pool.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember only on from you telling me afterwards, you said you couldn't stop thinking about me.
Yep.
So tell me, with a heart that was locked away, what was happening to it when we had shared that kiss? And yeah, what was it like for you to be like, oh no, my heart is wanting to come out of this cave and I'm scared to let it, but it was happening anyway.
Yeah, I guess it was a mixture of pure joy blended together with being terrified.
Aww.
You know what I mean? And it was, what was interesting about it is, and this is what I'm
I
saying.
love you sharing this.
This is what I'm saying is that I didn't want it to happen. Like when we went to dinner that night,
Yeah.
and I was staring at you from across the table, and I said I felt like I was looking into your soul.
Yes.
That is not something I wanted to do.
Right. Yeah.
And so my ego's response is, as soon as this chick leaves, we need to go bang someone else.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Like, we need to move away from anything associated with our heart and get back into our ego, because all women are X, Y, Z.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Which then sparked off the 6-month
Yes.
up and down, because my heart was talking louder and louder. My ego would then come in over the top and be like, no,
squash it down.
Totally.
So what was happening to you at dinner when you were staring at me? Because I know you were, and I was gravely uncomfortable in myself too.
It was almost just like it was an intuitive guidance that the person sitting across from you is your person.
So you knew back then and you put me through hell.
Oh, were you golden in those 6 months, were you, champ? Hey?
I wasn't golden, but still.
Yeah, no.
Oh, wow. That's massive.
Yeah, of course. It was instant. Instantly knew from that day on. There was not a day that went past, whether you were in Melbourne or in New York or wherever, where you weren't in my head. So, but that's my point. That's the power of the ego. My ego came very, very close, number of times, to blowing up us sitting here today talking.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, we've talked in the past, and I've openly accepted all the judgment that comes with it. How I took you out about 3 months into this process. We went and saw Star Wars with my family. We had dinner. I introduced you to mum and dad. Like, everyone fucking loved you. It felt like home. And then the next day, I sent you a text and said, there's no X factor. And that is like such an important thing for everyone to understand, that like I literally had my true end result in my life, and my ego was wanting to get rid of it to create an end result that it was trying to tell me is actually my end result, but it
Mm,
wasn't. And
mm.
that's what happens.
So tricky,
It
isn't it?
constantly.
Yeah.
So the way it would have been is my ego's like, yep. Okay, I get it, man. So you want love? That's fine. So what we have to do to get love? Let's break up with Kat, and then let's go date like 27 other women, and that'll bring us to love. Whereas, nah, dude, it's already there. The actual next best step is to step in further, but your ego doesn't want that because that's going to give you your true heart's result. But your ego is designed from your false limiting beliefs to chase an illusion.
To keep you separate from.
Totally. So that was pretty much it. So, you know, from my perspective, anyone who's listening, like if I can come from that spot to this spot, then anyone can do it. But it takes, you got to be brave. You know, you have to try and know that there's risk, but be open as you go into the risk, because if you're closed before it starts, it never will start.
Yeah. So what was it? I know being away for 10 days in Vipassana was like driving you crazy. But so yeah, we did have on and off for a 6-month period, or maybe a little bit less than. And we were both equally trying to blow it up. Can't do this, shouldn't do this, can't do this, shouldn't do this.
No, I think I was trying to blow it up more.
Yeah, I think I remember being in St Kilda. I've just finished a client call, and I remember ringing you going, I don't think this is a good idea. I think I did one blow off.
Yeah.
And then I think you agreed, and then we kept getting drawn back together.
Yeah. You were blowing it off more at the start.
I was.
I was. Because you're a superficial little shit. And you felt that I wasn't good looking enough.
Ego.
Wasn't hot enough.
My ego.
Wasn't a banker. Don't know why you'd want a banker. But, you know, I hire bankers. But yeah, at the start it was mostly you. And then towards the end, when it was getting quite serious, it was a lot more me.
That is true.
But I seem to somehow have been painted out as the villain in every podcast.
That's true, because
you actually said to my face, I find you unattractive.
I didn't say
unattractive. No. What did you say?
I said I am
not sexually attracted.
I'm not sexually attracted to you.
Wow.
I said I'm emotionally attracted to you.
Let's run a poll on that one. Is Kat John a bitch?
Hey, that was my ego playing up. Yeah, so last question for you. Because people are going to be listening to this going, okay, I need to be brave. Like, what was your crescendo moment to, I can't fight this anymore. I can't fight this love. I can't fight my heart. I can't fight.
It was when you were gone. There's, you know, that old saying that until you take something away, you know, or
absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Yeah, like you were accessible.
Right.
And then that 10 days when you were gone on Vipassana, so Kat went on a silent retreat, no phone, couldn't speak, meditated 10 hours a day. I'm going fucking nanas.
Yeah.
I guess it made me realize 10 days of zero contact that this isn't going to work. I need this person in my life. Yeah.
Wow.
And so you got to walk out of that, find like 1,000 text messages that I'd sent knowing that you weren't going to read them.
Yeah.
And then since that day, we've never been apart.
It's true.
So, yeah, the road was hard, but the road was worth it. That's the message of today's thing. Right? As we go into our 1-year wedding anniversary, that's our gift and message to you listening, is the road is hard, but worth it. So, you know, make good choices. Like, obviously, I was investing in someone who I intuitively knew was a good person. You can have the complete opposite of that. You can have where you know intuitively not a good person, but your ego tries to tell you they are, because this person will actually validate your belief that men are not available, or men are not supportive, or whatever else. So you can create a dysfunctional relationship and think that it's true, but it's actually not.
Yep.
And, you know, the best example of that is in your book, Authentic, available on Amazon.
It is.
And all good bookstores, where you talk about specifically relationship examples of where they've attracted in things that they think are actually in their truth, but it's their ego fucking with them. Your turn.
My turn. My path back to love. So before you, I didn't have sex for a whole year. So before you, that was a choice. That was a proper choice. The last guy that I dated before you was the pinnacle of a banker wanker.
Right.
Absolute pinnacle. I went out with him on. I knew of him already. I thought he was really good looking, and I knew he was a wanker. Just intuitively, I'm like, well, not a wanker, but I knew he wasn't in his integrity, heart, etc. Right? It's just easy to call him a wanker. And when I think I was out with some friends and he was there and there was some interest there. And then my friend said, do you want to go on a date? I always knew, and this is the thing, my dating history, my path pre this love was I always knew what was going to be good for me, right for me, true for me, and not good for me, not right for me, not true for me. And I often went for what was not right for me, what was not good for me, what was not true for me.
But why? Like looking back, why?
Because I was so desperately wanting to be seen as for who I am. Like that was my greatest pain and yearn. I wanted to be loved and accepted and seen and acknowledged for who I am. And it was also my greatest fear.
Right.
Also my greatest fear. So it was easy for me to choose people that were not emotionally available. So they could, now this goes back to my past of abuse and those kinds of things. It was just easier for me to be seen as like, here's my body, here's my fun side, here's my laughy side, here's my whatever side I think you want me to be. And I'll lock away my depth. I'll lock away my heart. I'll lock away my whatever else is there that makes up all of me. My crazy, my neediness, my whatever else, which you beautifully get to see in all its glory. So they were safe bets. Similar to you when you were dating, you went for safe bets. They were my safe bets, but they were also my pain bets. That always end up in pain. And I knew that they would, and I went there anyway, because again, in my own ego, it was predictable. I knew the path, I knew the plan, I knew where it was going to end. And it kept reinforcing my belief system that I can't be loved for me. So after this guy, I just I'd had enough of my own pattern. I'd had enough of my own self. And I just said to myself, like, no more dating, because that's what I would often do. I would do. I'd meet someone, I'd know they're not ready, they're not right, this is not going to work. They're a boy seeking this. And I would give myself up too quickly because that's what I thought they'd want. And that's how I thought I'd be kept, right? That's how I would be able to stay. So after him, I just said, no. I'm not going to date. I'm not going to like have sex. I just want to really hone in and focus in on me. And this is when I was doing my meditations around the energy and essence of the end result of what I wanted in a relationship. And it wasn't about what the person looked like now. It was the feeling of who I got to be and how I was when I was with this person. Funnily enough, you and I were always friends at this time. And the way that it was in the meditation was I was relaxed.
But I never came up on your radar.
Never. I was dating that guy at the time that you and I were mates.
Now explain to people why it's likely I wouldn't have come up on your radar.
What do you mean?
Well, I couldn't have come up on your radar because I was actually in line.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. With your heart's purpose.
100%. Yeah, because this is what I was saying. In the meditations, I was relaxed. I was at ease. I could be myself. And when you and I were friends, it's exactly how I was.
Because you weren't trying to be anything to me.
Wasn't trying to be anything to you. But with all these other guys, I was trying to be something or someone that I thought that they would keep, right? Like there's deep pain in there. So no, you weren't on my radar. But that's what it was like in the meditation. And then when you and I were mates, I was hanging out. I know we've shared this on the podcast before. I was hanging out at your house. You went to put the girls to bed. You were in a black t-shirt like you were wearing today, and you had your jeans on and you had your back to me. And very similar to how you were talking in Bali, there was this, it was beyond the physical world. There was this energetic cord that I could just feel from my heart to the back of your heart in your back. And it was this, he's my guy.
And how many months was this before Bali?
I can't remember.
So you knew in Bali?
No, because I shoved it down. Right. I fully shoved it down.
But you'd had an inkling.
I had an inkling.
Right.
Yeah. And I remember saying to Tommy, who's your best mate, who was friends with us at the time, being like, oh my God, I can't believe these two back and forthers. I remember saying to him, like, I got this feeling about Steve and I don't want to go, I don't want to hang out there anymore. I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah.
He never told me.
Yeah. Because when I would go at your house, like I would very comfortably put a pillow on your lap and you just pat my hair or pat my forehead, and there was literally nothing there. And I remember after that night just going, yeah, cool. I ain't hanging out with Steve anymore. So that was my ego. That was my ego fully trying to protect me.
Yep.
Because
from love.
From love. Yeah.
Because you're unlovable.
Because I'm unlovable.
And just quickly, that's the point, guys. I want to ram this home, right? Yeah. Kat has a belief system, a false belief system through her wounds of her youth that says she is unlovable, right? Your beliefs always have to match your external reality. So if someone comes along who will love you, you either can change your belief around it, or, which requires a lot of work, or you change your external reality. So what she's done is gone, cool, I'll never fucking hang out with Steve ever again. That way I'll prove that I am not lovable. Yep. Like, it's sneaky.
I know.
So sneaky.
I know. And obviously, so even though I had all of my meditations and it was like, yes, so it's not person dependent, in that moment, the moment that cord was there, that knowing was there, I flicked straight back into my ego. He's a dad. He's older than me. He's not hot. He's going through, he's divorced.
We're running a poll on the he's not hot bit.
Well, you're very fucking hot now. You're gorgeous.
Yeah.
You're the love of my life. So yeah, my path back to love at that point was, I'm going to run the fuck away from it.
Fair enough. I wonder if I noticed that you weren't hanging out with me.
Yeah, that's what I was questioning. I wondered if you knew that, because
you weren't on my radar.
I wasn't on your radar. Yeah.
For also probably very similar reasons.
Correct.
Right. So I may not have really noticed that you had pulled back.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, oh, we're mates.
There was nothing there. So when I went to Bali, and I remember you saying, oh, I'm going to be in Bali at the same time too. I thought, okay, that's cool. But I remember,
universe
intervened. I know. I love this. And this is why I truly believe in the right time, the right place, the right moment, the right person. Trust the timing of your life. And this was one of those moments. And I remember, because I ran a retreat there, and the day of the retreat finished, I came to meet you, and there was just this feeling of excitement. Like I couldn't wait to see you. And I remember in the cab going, shut the fuck up. No, we're not excited to see Steve. It's just Steve. Who cares? It's Steve. And then we had the best day together. I remember you walked down the alleyway and you had tears in your eyes because you'd just written this beautiful letter from your future self to your current Steve, because you're going through a really rough spot. And, we connected upon that, and we had a beautiful day. And I remember when we had that kiss, as we were kissing, I was just going, no, 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 no. But in my head, it was, no, this can't happen. This can't happen. This can't happen. This can't be happening.
Right.
So then I remember you and I split, like as in we got out of the pool
it
really
was
quickly.
Like opposite magnets just going.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
then when your friend came back to the villa, you introduced her to me, and the way you looked at me, I remember. And again, it was a very spiritual moment. I could see all the way through you. Your body, it's like your body didn't exist. I could see all the way through you, and it was that this is my person.
Oh,
Yep.
same.
Yeah. Did you just fist bump me?
Yeah.
You did.
We did it.
We did it. And then I remember at dinner when you were staring at me, I was like, I was so uncomfortable.
I can still do it now.
Yeah.
I look straight through you now.
I know. It was so uncomfortable. So then, yeah, I mean, after that, I went to New York to meet friends, and I also couldn't stop thinking about you. I got to the airport. I'm like, oh, why am I thinking of Steve? And then I was sending you this message of had a really lovely day. And then I did my own future letter writing to myself, and I sent it to you, and you got really great insight into how much of a dark motherfucker I was.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, you were like,
whoa.
I think I still have it. So yeah, I remember it was I couldn't wait to come home to see you. But then when I was coming home, I could feel your excitement to see me, and that was making me go, yeah, nah, bye. I remember you wanted to see me before I went to Anthony Robbins, because then I came home and literally went to Tony Robbins, and I didn't see you because I didn't want to see you. But we were messaging the whole time I was there. And then I came back from Tony Robbins and I was sick because I was screaming the whole freaking time. And you're like, come over, I'll make you soup. And I was just like, nah. I like wanted to push you away as far as I could. That was me doing that.
Mm.
And then I remember you said, come on, like, come over. Let's, I think there's some things that we need to talk about. And I remember you had your pizza, Meat Lovers pizza, your Coke Zero, and you said there's clearly something here. We can either deny it or explore it. And I remember saying to you, I feel really like, emotionally attracted to you and spiritually attracted to you, but I'm just not sexually attracted to you. And because you had known me for so long, you just called bullshit. And you said, I reckon you're full of shit. I think you're just scared. And you were 100% right. And I'd never had a man do that. I'd never had a man call me out like that. So, yeah, our path back to love from there, I remember we were sort of seeing one another. And then I remember, I think a week into it, I was like, nah, we can't do this. We shouldn't do this, because I was so afraid to get hurt. I was so afraid to get hurt. So I wanted to be the one to jump in to hurt you first. Not hurt you, but not be hurt by, you know what I mean? And then I remember you on the other end agreeing, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So he doesn't really want this. He doesn't, there's other stuff that is important. So cool, it's done. But like magnets, we kept coming back together. And I think for the rest of our path to love, until we finally got together, I think the most painful part was the stories that I was telling myself in my head, that he doesn't want me, he doesn't love me, he doesn't like me. What else do I need to do? Who else do I need to be? And all this kind of stuff. And that was my work to do. And then also accepting that I can't force this. I can't force this human to speed up his love, to speed up his readiness. You were going through a lot at that time. I remember, sitting up till 3 a.m. and sometimes 2 a.m. having wee spars with you in bed and talking with you, doing Macca's runs I remember we did one Macca's run together at midnight. But yeah, I think the tricky part for me was I want to be there for this person. I love this person, but I don't want to be a doormat. I don't want to be, like you said, so available to him that we just become friends and I'm hurting at the same time. So yeah, it was a super messy. But by the end of it, I was ready to love. And I remember I was saying it to you like, I love you. And you were dropping me these things of, please don't give up on me, Kat. Like there's a heart in here. I'm just really scared. And it was hard for me. Like they were things that, oh my God, is he just saying this or is he meaning this? Is he saying this? Is he meaning this? And I could feel your love for me. I really could feel your love for me. Even when we were off. But yeah, it was just time, patience, and trust, which you said is a very brave thing. I had to trust that, yeah, you weren't going to break my heart. You did a little bit.
Oh,
the X Factor text message.
So
But that's our path back to love.
there you have it. That's the nitty gritty, all open, vulnerable path from pain back to love.
Which has led us to 8 years of being together.
Yep.
One of those years being married.
And that's what we wish for everyone else.
Yeah.
That they have their own path back. So if you're having, if you've ended a relationship or you're single at the moment or you've just lost faith, listen to this a couple of times and read the book. Like, I can't stress that enough. I know that everyone probably hears that and he's like, oh, he's just trying to pitch a book. I cannot explain how much the ego versus true self work has changed our lives. And let me tell you this, if you are listening and haven't bought the book, do you want to know why? Because your ego knows it will bring you to your true self.
It'll bring you home.
And it doesn't want it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the amazing thing.
That is
right?
it.
That's the only reason you wouldn't read it. Because it's what, $25? If I said to someone, hey, you give me $25 and I'll change your whole fucking life. Like wealth, health, relationships, everything. Like, it's a no-brainer. So if it hasn't happened, it's because your ego says, oh, yeah. We'll buy the book once we've... Because that knows that it will stop you from getting what you truly want.
I know. And because look at what our egos were doing. It was stopping us from coming home to our hearts and following our truth, which now we have created lives that are authentically ours. We've created like beautiful lives from the home of our heart together. And
if anyone else is listening and you've got a friend or a family member or someone who's also in a rough spot relationship wise, please send this episode on. We really are recording it so that, people can see our story, have some faith, maybe see a path back for themselves.
Amen to that. Happy anniversary, my love.
Yes, you too, my love. I will see you in a fortnight on the Kat John Real Raw Relatable podcast.
Even polled it first. Okay.
Well, I'm just happy wife, happy life.
Love you, darling.
Love you too.